Hello everybody and welcome to It Invaded episode 4 anime review. In this episode, just again more drip feeding of information. We're learning a bit more about Sakaido and real Sakaido, whose name I have written down this week, so that's always good. Narisago is the real man who becomes Sakaido. Also learnt they don't always become Sakaido, they are just the great detective, but they have different names depending on who jumps in. Also, another murder got solved, I guess. That also happened. I feel like that's what we're going to be. It's going to be murders solved every week with small drip feeds of the overall story. Bloody John Walker hasn't been mentioned again, or was it, I think it was John Walker. The guy from the first couple episodes, he's not been mentioned yet. So, anyway, let's jump into the episode. Apologies that it's late again. I was out yesterday, so I didn't have time. But yeah, it's here now, so yeah, it's good. Let's get into this. We open up with Drill Guy, whose name I have not remembered, but basically he's telling all the cops and everything. He's figured out everything what's going on. He knows, he's actually a very smart man. He's figured out how the Idwells work, who Narisago is, basically. He's figured all that out. After which, yeah, Narisago is a murderer. At some point during this episode, I haven't wrote it down, but they said like he only kills serial killers. So I guess he's like the serial killer, but that still makes him a serial killer. He's still got to be arrested. But yeah, then the Drill Guy tries logging in, but he's not as good as Sakaido. So they're like, no, he's not a viable replacement. Oh no. Then we find out what the case for this week's episode is going to be. There is a girl trapped in a box or a small room, being streamed to the internet, Twitch. Like, come on, work out your robots. Surely. If we take this in the real world, right, the stream would get taken down. Like, the account would be deleted. There's no way that would be streamed for multiple days like it was. That's a bit... Come on. Basically, she's got like a little breath mask. She's got, I think, a bit of water. She's just got to survive past the survival date, I guess. So hopefully she does it. They can't find the source of where the stream is coming from, so they can't find where the house is, where she's being kept, because of plot magic, basically to make the episode interesting. So yeah, then we're at the crime scene where she was abducted. Her phone was left behind. They found some killing intent, which means they can create an Idwell. But the weird thing is, we learn a bit later on, but I'll just stick it here. They didn't find any at the previous 6 cases of the grave digger, is what this serial killer is called. But at the previous things, they didn't find any killing intent, but this one they did. So let us see what on earth this Idwell is like. So yeah, Sakaido logs in, or dives in, I don't really know what to say. We see Kairu, she's burnt up. So, poor Kairu. Basically the mystery of this one is the bottom of the building is on fire. However, the top of the building where Kairu is not on fire. So how did she get burnt? It doesn't make sense. Also, the top of the building is like shifting. Thought that would come into play a bit more, but it doesn't really. It's just like how he traverses it. At the top of the building, he sees a girl, but then he gets killed. I'm not going to list every time Sakaido dies, because it happens a lot. They said like he's dying for like 8 hours straight, so that's not good. We see the girl in the box. She's like, man, I must have been in here a while by now. It's like 7 hours have passed. It's like, that's not that long in the grand scheme of things. And then she was like, what's the record? 48 hours? And it's like, oh, you're not going to make that. A bit longer than 48 hours, actually. Anyway. Sakaido, every time he logs in, despite not having any memory of it, he does slightly better each time. Or eventually he like learns, even though he doesn't have the memory of it, which is kind of weird. It's like multiple parallel universes where like, if this choice is made, he dies, but if he makes this choice, it's like a visual novel sort of, where you can die a lot. It's a good way of putting it. Right, the girl who got taken, I gotta make sure I get this right. The girl who got taken and is in the box dying in the live stream, whatever. The one that's in the Idwell is a younger version of herself, so that's pretty weird. And then yeah, he makes it across eventually to the other building, and yeah, then he keeps dying before, every time he gets a bit closer, every time then he dies, because you keep going over it. I'm not going to go super in deep in that. In the real world, the girl is losing hope at this point. She's like, why has nobody come to save me? I'm going to die. Yeah, but then they're talking about, not sure why this is the only incident that has the particles in it. That's weird. The director comes in at one point telling him to take a break, and he's like, no, we don't need to take a break, the head guy. Then we get a medley montage of Sakaido traversing the land with this sick music playing. It was pumping. Let's go with that. And eventually he makes it to her, and she helped him solve the case, basically. Kaoru didn't die in the fire that's hit nearby. She died in another fire, and then hid it amongst the bodies that died in this fire to like hide the crime, I guess. Basically, what they figure out from that is this isn't one of the gravediggers' killings. It's a copycat who has made it look like the gravedigger to make it less likely for him to be caught. So yeah, gravedigger, you're innocent. Well, you're not innocent, but in this crime, you're innocent. I do like when they solve it and they kind of figure it all out. It does feel a little bit like one episode isn't enough time, though. Like in some of these cases. Like this one, though, felt like they were killing time a little bit. Like there was a lot of him dying and so on and so forth. So that's where we're at right now. The little girl then points to the opposite building where there is a Mr. Uno who was like her next door neighbor, which is he's the killer basically. They raid his house and Kairu's body is on the rug, and he's got a rug the same thing. So they take over the rug in the real world. There's a little compartment. They find the box where the girl's in. The live stream wasn't live at all, it was recording. She's been dead for days, which is, I guess the dude didn't know how to live stream, so he was like, I'll just record it and then play the video file on OBS or something, which, honestly though, a bit messed up. This is the biggest serial killer, like, he's the one that got me messed up. Like, the drill guy was messed up, obviously. What was the last one? I can't remember the last one. The sniper, that was it. Or not the sniper, but the sniper. You know what I mean? Yeah, this one was, because it was like he burnt his house down. From what I can gather, he burnt his own house down, and then when she was young, she saw it, so then he's gone after her as some sort of revenge or something, I think is what's happened, but you know, she died, which is not good. Sakaido, though, saves the id version of her, at least. Not that that means anything, but it's a small victory, you know. And then when he wakes up, Narisago hears about everything, and, you know, they were talking beforehand about, like, whether or not he actually cares about saving people anymore. When he hears that she died, he looks pretty distraught. Like, despite being a killer himself, he did not look happy that she had died. And then he says, basically then it talks about him wanting to kill people. He's like, I don't have any malice towards people, it just, the need to kill arises. So, yeah. And then he considers the police guy still a friend. I don't know his name, I should really get better at learning people's names. The gravedigger's still out there, but that's another thing to note, so I assume that's something we'll do in the coming weeks. We'll get the real gravedigger. The girl, remember her, the short-haired girl who got head drilled her, she recognised the guy in a hat, and she followed him, and he was one of the missing people from case 1 that I guess they rescued. He's got a little drill hole in his head. But yeah, then at the very end, he kisses her, and I'm like, dude, consent. But no, a bit out of nowhere. Curious to see where that's going. Is he a friend or is he a foe? He's almost definitely a foe. Or he could just be he likes her because she saved him, sort of. I guess she did save him, yeah. So there's that, kind of a weird way to end. Again, I'm curious to see, because you got Narisago, Sakaido, or whatever in one thing. I think his stuff is more interesting because they were also talking about he's had like 5 serial killers kill themselves, like while being in the cell opposite to him. Also, the drill dude called him senpai at one point, so I guess like he's like their backup, which is kind of weird. I'm not gonna, you know, I guess they're using serial killers to catch other serial killers is kind of what they're doing, which is weird, but I'm glad we're piecing it all together now, so that's good. Piece by piece, we are building the puzzle. It's good to see. I am enjoying this show. I don't know what the general consensus is because I don't really look that stuff up. I just give my opinion. But yeah, I hope people are liking it like I am. It's certainly one that you got to think about, and I like it. I like it a lot. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider subscribing and liking and commenting and other stuff. For more reviews, check out the main channel as well. There is content over there. I will see you next week, hopefully on Sunday, properly this time, for another episode of this. And bye, guys. Bye.